Hi everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to make Domo. Here he is. And for this you'll need red bands, white bands, and brown bands. And we're going to start out, we're going to make his feet first. These are his feet. And for his feet you're going to take 9 single bands and wrap them around your hook 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Once you get those 9 bands on there, you're going to take a single brown band, you're going to double it, grab it with your hook, and you're going to pull all these bands over that single double band. And you want to play with them a little bit, kind of make sure they're even out. And there you have it. That is one of Domo's feet. Now this is my holding hook, so I'm just going to double that over and hook the other end and keep it on this hook. We're going to make the second foot. Same thing. 9 bands wrapped around 3 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And again, we're going to take a single band, we're going to double it, grab it with our hook, and we're going to pull all 9 of these bands over that single doubled band. And you can play with your bands a little bit once you get them across to make sure they're kind of evened out, because you don't want your feet to be retarded. And that's your second foot. Again, this is my holding hook, so I'm just going to hook it there. And there you have your 2 feet. Now the next thing we're going to do is his arms. You're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pegs. And you're going to put 2 single bands all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now for his hands on here, you want to take 2 single bands and you want to wrap them around 3 times each. That was 1 single band, and that's 2 single bands. Now I'm going to go ahead and lay out the layout for the second arm so that we can just hook both of them at the same time. And again, when you get to the bottom, you want to take a single band, wrap it around 3 times, take another single band, and wrap it around again. And now we are ready to hook. Now when you start hooking, remember this cat band has 6 bands, and you only want to grab the 2 at the bottom. And hook it all the way to the top. Now I forgot to mention, Domo is a little on the big side, and to get his smile, his mouth right, you needed to add a lot of bands, so I am using 2 looms, 6 rows of pegs to make Domo. Once you've gotten your arms hooked, I always unhook my cat bands first so that they don't get stretched, so that my hands don't be all out of shape. But then you could take these off your loom and put them on your holding hook. So there we have his arms and we have his feet. And that is the only excess we have to make for him. We're going to set these to the side. Besides his eyes, which I use 2 pony beads on a brown band, but you could also do it with the black rubber bands. For those of you who don't know how to do that, I'm not going to demonstrate with black bands, but I'll demonstrate with a red band. You want to take your band, wrap it around 1, 2, 3, 4, and then grab your face color band and just, wait a second, messed that one up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab your face color band, in this case brown, with the hook, and this is not working with this hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pull it over. And there you have your eye for Domo. But I'm not going to use that method, so. Now Domo does use a lot of bands because, like I say, you use 6 pegs. But Domo is also very easy because he's basically just a big rectangle. Now you're going to start out, you're going to put 2 bands across the center 2 pegs, which is the 3rd and the 4th peg from either side. Add 2 more bands going to the left. Another 2 bands going to the left. 2 bands going to the right. And another 2 bands going to the right. Now you want to add 2 rows of brown bands going down. Now when I get to the mouth, this Domo I'm going to do a little bit different than the other one. That was actually the 2nd Domo I made, and I was trying something different with his mouth by putting the white all the way around. But I like it better with the red going straight through that middle. But again, right now what we're doing is adding 2 brown bands on 2 rows. And we're doing that all the way across all 6 pegs. Once we finish that, the next row we're going to add 2 brown bands on the first peg. Then we're going to add 2 whites. Two whites, and we're going to do this for those 4 pegs in the middle. That was kind of twisted there. And on the last one, we're going to add 2 more brown pegs. 2 more brown bands on the last 2 pegs. Next section. First 2 pegs, it'll be 2 browns. Then we're going to add 2 reds. And that's for the next 4 sets of pegs. It's going to be red, 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 and red. And the last 2 will be 2 browns. Like I said, Domo is pretty easy because he's really just a big triangle. Now we go to the next 2 pegs. We do 2 browns. We want to finish off the mouth. So we do white for the next 4 pegs. And 2 browns for the last 2. Now the rest of Domo is pretty easy. There's only one place where we have to add something extra. But all we're doing now is pretty much going down with brown bands. And we're going to do 3 rows going down all the way across. Now when you get to your 4th row, after you put in the 3 browns, going down, add 2 browns going across this 3rd and 4th peg. That's actually the crotch area, and that's where your legs actually start. And now you just continue to go down with your 2 double bands on your last 2 rows. And for the rest of your loom, just keep going down till the rest of your loom is covered with 2 brown bands. Domo does take a lot of bands, brown bands anyway. I'm not exactly sure the exact count, but I know it's quite a few. Just keep going until your entire loom is covered with the brown bands. One row to go, almost there. And that is it for the bands, and this is how your loom should look right now. And the only thing we have to add now is our cap bands. Now we're going to start by capping off our legs first. And you want to take a single band and you want to double it across 3 pegs. This is what's going to separate our legs. This is what shows the separation between the legs. And you want to do this all the way up to that one band that you put in the middle for the crotch area. For me, it's just easier to do it this way. Once you get to that crotch area, stop. Go back and do your other side, because we still have to add our feet our arms, and our eyes. Now make sure you put a cap band on the bottom where the feet are going to go, because if not, you won't have a cap band for that middle row of pegs. So we're going to cap off, like I say, up to the crotch area on both sides. And once we get there, we'll go ahead and we'll add our feet and our arms. Our arms are going to go on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th peg from the top on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And our feet, of course, go on the bottom peg. Now, when I put my feet on, I kind of put the one that's hooked with the hook first, and then I'll add the other one. But I try to leave it down here so that I'll still be able to go in and grab that one and put it on the, grab that band to hook it. And here's our other foot. I'm going to hook it there. And hook it there. And that takes care of our feet. Now our eyes go on the 2nd row. We want that eyeball to go in between the 1st and the 2nd peg. But we want this to go across 4 pegs, that cap band, because that is actually our cap band. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one on the opposite side. We want to put it here. Push our bead in between the 1st and 2nd row, and then take this across 4 rows. And that is actually how we're going to cap off the rest of Domo. We're going to do 4 from that side, and then 4 from the opposite side. And we're going to do this all the way up with brown cap bands. 4 from the left, and 4 from the right. It doesn't matter, you could do 4 from the right, then 4 from the left, as long as you have each of those bands covering 4 pegs. 4 from the left, and 4 from the right. That was 3. 4 from the left, and 4 from the right. 4 from the left, 4 from the right. We already capped that 2nd from the top peg with our eyeballs, so we don't have to cap that one again. And now we are ready to loom. Make sure you get under all these bands. There should be 4 bands here. The 2 from your cap band and the 2 from your feet. And pull up. This one we only have 2, but we have to make sure we get behind the feet. And loom that one up. And same thing here. Make sure you get under the feet. Grab all 4 bands. All 2 bands. I only grabbed 1. And loom up. And I want to go ahead and go across and do the same thing on this side. And once you have that part completed, you can go ahead and you can loom up until you get to that crotch band. We're just going to loom. Make sure you have your teardrops. If you have your teardrops, you know you're doing it right. Once you get to that crotch band, go under and pull it over to itself. And then just continue to loom up. Now the rest of this, that's all you have to do is just keep gluing all the way to the top. So you can just start on either side and just keep going up. Make sure when you get to the arm area that you go all the way under and get those last 2 bands, and that's it. And just go all the way to the top. Now I'm going to switch hooks here because that one kind of hurts my hand a little bit. And like I say, with each of these rows, all you have to do is just loom to the top. Make sure you have your teardrops. As long as you have your teardrops, you know you're doing it correctly. And the one thing I hate, and I did this before with Domo, is missing a set of bands. And I went to pull them off, and I lost my entire Domo. So you always got to make sure you've pulled up all of your bands, and you've got that teardrop on every single row, every single peg, so that you don't lose it. And when you get to this one, you're going to have a few extra bands because that's the crotch area. Make sure you get under all of them. And pull your bands up. I'm just going to do these last 2 side by side instead of going all the way up and coming back. When you get to that other armband, again, make sure you go all the way to the bottom and get just the last 2 bands. And pull the last 2 up. Okay, now our body is completely loomed. And once we get to the top, you can start on either the left or the right. It really doesn't matter. Because either way, when you end, you're going to end on the 4th peg in. Take your bottom bands, pull them up and over to themselves. Again, bottom band up and over to itself. Bottom band up and over to itself. And there you stop. Go to the opposite side. Bottom bands up and over into themselves. Bottom band up and over into itself. And that's where it ends. Domo actually ends, because it's on 6 pegs, in an odd place because it's on the 4th peg, because there is no center peg. But as with all of the rest, go in. I always use 2 bands to make my slip knot, simply because it's a little bit more durable and I don't want that band to pop. Make sure your hook is through all those bands. Grab your 1 or 2 bands, it's really totally up to you. Pull it through and make your slip knot. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to pop the bands. And this is what your project should look like. Now, you can pop them off. I always pop off the areas that have thicker bands first because I am too lazy to pop them off one by one with my hook. So I pop off the top, the feet, and the arms because that's where the larger amount of bands are, and then I just pull mine off. And you can play with your feet a little bit to kind of get them to go where they belong. But there, push his little eyes out. And I like to kind of rearrange his arms. I like to make his arms pose. So we're going to make this Domo look like he's waving. And just flip his other arm down a little bit. And there you have it, folks. There's Domo.